So I've now gone out and bought myself a bit of foam, which I'm going to be using as more of a permanent mattress in the van. I got this from Clark Rubber for $230. First things first is to unpackage it, and then I can start drawing out where I need to cut it, and then trim. It's actually a really nice feeling foam. Now the annoying part is I don't know how to sew, but we learned how to do basically exactly what I need to do for this in home ec when I was like, I want to say 14. So this goes out to everyone in school. Pay attention. You don't know. It's probably sitting there at the time going, yeah, but when is this ever going to come in handy? This is so dumb. Why are we making pencil cases? Because one day you might build a mattress. Beautiful. So these are the 3 shapes I'm going to be doing. So I just need to mark that out on here and start cutting away. Now I don't actually own a straight edge ruler. The other thing you could use is a level. So I'm just going to be using what I know to be straight, which is one of the old floorboards from when I did that part of the build. Alright, so I've got my line marked up, and to cut this I'm just going to be using a kitchen bread knife. Should work. Starting to go off to the right a little bit. Oh, this is not the best cut ever. It's kind of terrible. So I think this is definitely the bit that's going closest to the wall. That's the most wavy thing I've ever seen. We started off not too bad, and somewhere around the middle just all went to shit. Well, not much you can do about that now, is there? Okay, so I've got my first piece nearly in. I had some trouble where that wasn't letting it sit hard against here. So what I did was use my contour gauge to get this mark here. So all I've got to do now is cut that out, and hopefully that will sit nice and tight against that spot. So the rain's really picked up, but I'm now cutting my 2 end pieces, which will fill in the rest of the space and give me the right length to sleep on. So here's the first look at the mattress. This is actually extremely comfortable. Oh, that like I'm cozy in here. I could sleep in here for ages. As soon as the covers are done, I've got a relatively functional bed. It's really comfy. Now for the last 2 months, I've been using these temporary mattress covers that I sewed out of the original cover that the mattress came in, but obviously they're not the most attractive looking covers and they don't quite fit the theme of the van. So today I'm going to be removing these, replacing them with a nice black canvas type fabric and putting zippers on them as well so they can be taken out and machine washed. So first step is to work out my measurements, cut my fabric to size, and then create my covers. Now prior to doing these builds, I've had very little sewing experience, so a lot of the methods I'm using are going to be very simple and not too fancy. With all that aside, time to dive in and start measuring. So I've done my maths as best as I can, and I think I've got it right. As you can see, multiple corrections, multiple times of realizing that I'd fucked it up, and multiple markings. I'm now doing all of my sewing for all of these covers. I factored in a 10mm hem into my overall piece. So all I'm doing is getting my 2 pieces tied against each other and then lining that up against the 10mm mark on the sewing machine, and then running it through on one straight line on the most basic stitching pattern there is. Now at the end of all of your runs, you want to press the button there and go back and forwards over the end of your stitch a few times, so that way it's not going to undo itself. That is my basic understanding of sewing, and that seems to be working for me for now. So for the hem that's going to then be zipped, I am folding it over at 10 mils, and then I'm just going to run it through directly on that line, and I'll do the zip second. So here's my first completed cover. For someone who has no idea how to sew, I think that looks quite nice. So how I've been sewing the zip is basically while it's still connected, I'll go the whole way down and do one side, and then I separate the zip, line up the teeth at the end there so it will be pretty much in line, and then I just follow the other side along, still at the very end connected so it can't get too far apart. So lining up the zip with the end of my piece there, and that bit sews through the seam that I've already done, It's just as simple as keeping that tight against each other and then following it along. Once you get to the end, it's a good idea to reverse back on what you've done a couple times just to stop it from wanting to unravel. So as you can see, I've now got the second case nearly finished. And what I'm going to be doing here is reconnecting that zip. And then, same way I've done on these, I'm going to be sewing a little patch to the very corners. And that means it gives the zip somewhere to stop, as well as sewing through the actual zipper means that it's not going to undo from that side and then bust the zip. That's my method. There's probably a more professional way of doing it. This is very simple and it seems to be doing the trick. So here's how I'm finishing up that zipper. So I want to get that first side in there. Now we pop that second bit through. You don't have to be too concerned about, there we go, accidentally busting the zipper, because worst case scenario, you just cut a little bit off like I did before and feed it down a little bit lower. So that's all zipped up, but where I'm sewing at the end, I want this piece over here to be closed up as well. So what we're gonna do here is close that zipper up all the way, take it off, and now I'm gonna open the other side and bring it back across. So we've got a finished zip on this side. While it's closed up, I'm gonna sew my final patch around the corner. So there's my little off cart that I'm folding over to close that zip. I never thought when I turned 21 I'd be sitting in a back room by myself on a weekend making sewing tutorial videos. Fucking crazy the way life works, man. I don't want to break the needle again. Can you really consider this a tutorial video? I'm clearly not that good of a sewer. A seamstress! Ooh, that's better. So here's number 2. I think it's getting better every time. Right, that's 3 mattress covers done. And my new bed is ready to go in. I was hoping it looks as good as I was picturing in my head what's actually in the van. So let's go check that out now. And that is how you spend a weekend by yourself with the sewing machine. New mattress is in. You'll have to excuse the mess. There we go. I think the black looks really nice. Now, I don't love the fact that the zip is showing on this side. Ideally, it would be hidden out the back, but unfortunately, with the way it curves around to fit that there, the zip wasn't quite long enough to go the whole way and get the mattress in. So, definitely not the end of the world. I think it looks so much nicer than the yellow. It looks a whole lot more professional now. I'm gonna go ahead and put it into bed mode so you can see how it looks all done up. So that's how the mattress transforms into bed mode. Gives as much space for a bed as possible while still packing up to be quite compact. I started this project about 8 months ago. It's been a lot of weekends and nights after work and just doing little jobs here and there. And to finally be at a point where I can start to see my vision coming to be. It's a really nice point of satisfaction for me. So thanks to everyone who has subscribed and just keeping up with the process of doing this van build. I appreciate all the comments I've been getting and all the support along the way. It's been a lot of fun for me. It's been challenging in some areas, but this is my passion, my hobby at the moment. So to have support doing that and to hear that people are getting value out of the content that I'm making, that actually really means a lot to me. I look forward to having this all tied up. Thanks guys.